We just go to tiny towns in Idaho and stuff, and you walk in and they're like, where are you guys from? Australia. And they're like, what the fuck are you doing here?
Welcome to the Dreams of Consciousness podcast. If you'd be so kind, would you mind introducing yourself?
Hi, Adrian. My name's Wolfe Peterson. I'm the singer guitarist of the Australian band Holystone.
And Wolf, how would you describe the music of Holystone?
The bio tends to say, it used to say sort of psychedelic rock, but we've definitely moved into more of an alt metal, stoner doom kind of thing at the moment. So yeah,
When you say stoner doom, do you feel like the pace of your music is pretty slow?
some of the songs are. It could be a bad thing, and I've always had this in a lot of different bands. I mean, it's hard to stick to one genre, and I'm a big fan of a bunch of doom bands, and like, but they all it's almost strictly doom, and the stoner bands are strictly stoner. But like our latest album really shows it. But our songs, some of them are quite different. It's a big array of mixing of genres. So yes, fast and slow to answer your question.
Maybe even a little bit of progressive and some math rock in there as well?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, managed to fit a bit of Mars Volta influences on this new record. Johnny and I are massive Mars Volta fans, amongst other bands, but yeah, you can hear that every now and then in Holy Stone. So,
So my listeners may be familiar with Holystone from a song that I put on a compilation about a month ago. Wolf, would you mind telling my audience a little bit about the history of the band and what brought you guys together and what your intentions were when you first started?
so Johnny and I, we've been in three or four bands together since maybe 2010. We both joined a band. It was kind of it's kind of cock rocky. It's really melodic. Dandy Warhol's Queens of Stone Age inspired band, and we just became great mates. And we played in a few different bands. And then I think around 2018, we just started jamming together and coming up with essentially the first album and some of the second album songs. And it fit us like a glove. I often joke that Holy Stone's like going. The 14-year-old me would be very happy about Holy Stone because we've been through a lot of different types of music beforehand. And this one just seemed home to both of us, and we really, really enjoyed it, and everything came to us really easy. So yeah, that's kind of what happened. And we've had a few different bass players, and now we're very lucky to have Maddie Morris, who's been in a few bands with us before. We actually asked her really early in the band, but she was too busy. But we've got her now, and yeah, and here we are.
Now, did you already have in mind that you wanted to do this kind of psychedelic stoner doom metal thing? Or was it just something that evolved naturally?
I'd probably say it evolved naturally. And the very first few ideas would be those kind of riffs that you just both start playing, and you're like, oh, okay. Like you might be at a sound check or rehearsal with one of our old bands, and we'd start playing these riffs, and we were like, oh, that's cool. And we made a band around those kind of riffs, the ones that would just come naturally to us. But so yeah, I think it would have come out of jamming first, and then we were like, okay, let's really turn these into some cool songs.
Is that mostly how you guys write songs, you and Johnny jamming together?
About 50%. About 50% that I do come up with a bunch of ideas at home, just sitting with the guitar. My phone's full of Holy Stone stuff from like the last 5 years, ideas and concepts, or snatching like drum beat ideas from other random sources or songs and being inspired by those and going, oh, let's take this kind of thing that people are doing and back in the 70s and or something really weird like a Devo drum beat, which are really always backwards and strange. And yeah, so but like half of them, and I'd say half of the new record were out of jams and a lot of the first record.
Okay. Do you trade files back and forth with Johnny?
If it's really good, if I think it's a really good idea, I'll send it to him. But it's got to get through a lot of my own personal filters before I waste anyone's time with it. What's really cool is Maddie. She's been sending through ideas as well, some really cool stuff. So yeah, it's been pretty rad. Johnny's got an electric kit, and I have electric kit, so we occasionally just get together because you can talk over the electric kit. It's not like you have to have 3 or 4 minutes worth of noise and then stop and talk about the idea. We can be playing and just communicate while playing and go, oh, how about we go here? Or this idea is stupid. Let's move on, that kind of thing. So we tend to use the electric kit when we can.
Okay, I see.
Very rock and roll of us.
It sounds like most of the arranging is done with the two of you or the three of you in person. Is that fair?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. we demoed both records a lot. So starting with the electric kit, and then in the jam room, through like a mixing console, and then I manage a recording studio here in Brisbane, and so we'll go out there and we'll track it again before we really go and do the final record, because you learn a lot. You really learn a lot by doing that process. What sucks in the song and what's kind of cool. So yeah, we iterate really heavily at every stage, and sometimes a member will be there for all of that or not so much, and things like that. Historically, especially because we've only just got Maddie Morris in, so we've had a few different other players, and maybe we didn't have a bass player when we wrote that track and things like that. So yeah, but Maddie's here to stay now, so I'm really excited to write this next record. We've already been working on a few ideas, which is really fun.
The demos that you do in your own studio, are they complete with like vocals and all the basic tracks?
Are you familiar with, like, you might have seen it around, or you're a singer yourself, but the gibberish technique where you'll find your melody by kind of singing. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, singing nonsense.
Yeah.
And quite often that nonsense will make it to the final recording studio, and we'll either sort it out in the studio, or in the case of Accepting Omega, we recorded the vocals once we were back in Australia for everything except a song, the very first song on the record, Prophecy, which I had those lyrics sorted. So those vocals on that track are actually from Seattle, but everything else is recorded at home.
So, Accepting Omega is the name of your second album,
Mm.
and it was released at the end of last week in relation to when we're having this conversation. Can you tell me a little bit about your intentions for this album?
At the very start of Holystone, and I was talking about those seed ideas that sort of fueled the band, we had two very different kind of streams of songs, and some of them were psychedelic and a bit stonery, and they just had a bit more of a vibe, and that's what we decided to run with first, even though we were very excited about the other stuff, which is probably about 50 to 60% of Accepting Omega. So Accepting Omega was like, there was all the way heavier stuff, way more technical, a lot more drop C, more old metal, if you will. And so we've had that sitting, a lot of that stuff just sitting around, these ideas we've been super, super excited about, just way more technical. So that's how it started. And I think we added about 3 or 4 songs just before going to record. We're just like, oh, let's get some more songs in this kind of vibe. And so we smashed out, I think, like Cavitation and The Oracle Speaks. We knocked those out in a couple of weeks. And I had an idea about the lyrical concept. It sort of was born out of the first song, Prophecy, and the sketches of lyrics that we had for Guided by Stones. And when we decided, okay, this is a thing here, we can make this like a sort of a concept album. We did a few different ideas. Like originally, I had an idea of trying to run a story all the way through it, almost like like a Broadway show or something.
Yeah.
And I've liked some of those albums like that, but the songs don't tend to stand up by themselves very much. Like you kind of like, oh, what's this song about? So we sort of abandoned that idea and just went for lyrically separate vignettes, like different characters and their point of view during this kind of end times apocalypse that the whole record's about.
Okay. Did you have most of the album finished when you started drafting this concept?
No, I think it was towards going to record where we started really talking about it. But after we recorded, Maddie and we finished a lot of the vocals and the writing. So I think maybe about 50% of the lyrics were probably very fully formed. And a funny story, when we were in Seattle, we were recording with a guy called Jack and Dino, and I was singing this part in Cavitation. It was a different melody, and it was very Ozzy Osbourne. I was very into Sabbath, strange thing for a band like us. And it was just, he's like, what the hell are you? He just hated it. He hated this vocal line. So I couldn't really sing it. It was way too high. And so it just like, we scrapped that and we came back and rewrote that whole song. Yeah. So it was about 50-50, I say. I always say it every album with every band I've ever been in, like, this time I'm going to have the lyrics sorted before we record. And it's never, ever happened, no matter what I.
Yeah. So you mentioned that part of this album was recorded in Seattle. Can you tell me about the process for recording, where you guys went and how long you were in each spot?
We were with Jack and Dino for 2 days, very quick. And I think we chose 4 or 5 songs to do. And it was focusing on the music, the beds. We pick the songs that we need clicks for, like to play a click track to, and the ones that actually sound good without a click. And so we had that, we went in with our, like, a couple of click tracks with him. He hates click tracks, Jack and Dino, by the way, if anyone's taken clicks to him. But so we ended up doing 5 songs. We did a version of Sleepwalker without a click, and we moved around too much tempo wise. So we ended up re-recording that. So we only kept 4 of the tracks from Seattle. So we did that. We smashed that in 2 days. And that was all the guitars. And so all the bass guitars and drums were recorded, and the vocals for Procession are from that, like my vocals, not Maddie's. Yeah, it was cool, man. It was like, it was our first time to Seattle. Where are you from in the States?
Oh no, I'm actually Malaysian, but I went to school on the East
Oh,
Coast.
you've got a great US accent.
I went to school on the East Coast for a bit, and I have been to Seattle. I was there 2024, and I'll say it's a very cool city. It's at times a very crazy city, but the people are very, very nice. Maybe like like the 2 places I've been where I felt like the people were the most welcoming were Seattle and Wellington, New Zealand.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I've never been to Wellington. It's on the wife and I's to-do list lately. So yeah, it's not too far for us. It's practically it's it's a short flight for us. So
Yeah.
yeah, I loved it. It was what we wanted. It was wet, it was cold and rainy, and yeah, and it had all the grunge history, which we really threw ourselves into, and yeah, we had a great time. Even though we're only there for maybe 3 days, I think we're there for. I might be wrong. We could have been there for 3 days recording. I don't know. It was a couple of years ago. I know it was shorter than Rancho. We had an extra day at Rancho, but yeah, we got a lot done in 2 days. But we work really quickly. We've been playing together a long time, so we just like we don't fuck around, and it's usually one or two takes, so it's pretty good.
So you recorded 5 tracks, kept 4 with Jack Cadino. Tell me about recording at Rancho. Why Rancho?
One of our old bands, we got Dave Catching. We bumped into that group of folks, the Eagles of Death Metal group, and the outer Queens scene when they came to Australia a few times, and I can't remember, we supported somebody cool, but we got Dave Catching to mix one of those songs, and so he already knew us and chatting to us, and then we just sent an email a few years ago for a different project that I'm working on called Super Dope with our old bass player Jack Bratt, and just it's a very Desert Sessions inspired thing where we just wanted to go and record at Rancho, and Dave said, yeah, come on down. So we pretty much took our demos from everything we sort of scrapped project wise over the years, and we all each had 3 songs, and we worked there for a couple of days, and we just love it. It's absolutely amazing. So as soon as I came back, I said to Johnny, we're going, let's do it, and we did. So we went back, and I think we were there for 3 or 4 days, and man, it's a blast. It's he is such a great host, and it's unlike any other recording studio experience I've ever had. Not you go there kind of for the history. You're like, okay, so many famous records have been made here, and it's the cool Queens of Stone Age scene. But you go back for Dave. Dave's the nicest guy in the world, and he really really cares, and he's just a great guy. It's a good experience.
So I feel this is a little bit unusual to split an album or split the recording sessions of an album in two. Was it the vibe of the songs that you wanted to get a different feeling in each place?
It wasn't why we did it, but I did split. We did split the songs as such. We thought, okay, Jack, we took the more like heavier, grungier ones, doomier ones, if you will, because Jack and Dina recorded a High on Fire album, and we referenced that a lot. And we, yeah, so we took those ones, a lot of the ones with the double kick. So like Brave Design, Procession, very doomy. That was recorded with Jack and Dina, and the faster ones, the like Accomplice, which has double kick, but that was more intricate. We kept that for Rancho, but it could have worked anywhere. I think that the drum tone from Jack and Dino is the best drum tone I've ever worked on as an engineer. Like I opened it up, the Pro Tools sessions, and I didn't touch anything. I didn't mix the record, so I don't know what the mixer Mike Delande did, but yeah, I was just blown away at how good it sounded. The drum kit just sounded amazing, all faders up. So, but the reason why we did that is because we built around the recording sessions of Road Trip. So we flew to LA, and we drove all the way up to Seattle, recorded with Jack and Dino, and then we went east and drove down through Montana and Utah to Nevada, and then down to Rancho, where we did 4 days. So we were in the States for a month, even though we were only recording for a week.
Yeah.
We're dive bar connoisseurs. We just go to tiny towns, we do, man. We just go to tiny towns in Idaho and stuff, and you walk in, and they're like, "Where are you guys from?" Australia, and they're like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" And we just hang out with those people all night long, and it's great. And we did it for a month, pretty much. So
I think every time I'm traveling, I always run into Aussies. I feel like you guys get around a lot.
yeah,
Like I don't know if Americans really leave their country that much, but I feel like Aussies are very comfortable traveling. I don't know if you feel that's true.
Oh, dude, we're everywhere, and we hear like my wife and I when we're overseas, we travel as much as possible. Most of the money goes into the band or on going overseas, and yeah, there's Aussies everywhere, and we hear accents constantly. And we're like, oh, they're here. There's more. Yeah, but yeah, these trips we've probably seen. We constantly talk to Americans and like, oh, you've seen more of the country than we have because we're slowly collecting each state, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we've had three massive road trips across the states, and two of them are featured recording, so which has been pretty cool.
Is there I mean, because you have your own studio. I'm curious if there's a level of comfort or a level of experimentation when you go to a new studio that you're trying to capture with your recordings.
It's yeah, right.
Like, do you want to get out of your comfort zone?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if anything, it's more comfortable. It's more comfortable with the challenge than there's a time frame and we've paid a bunch of money for this and there's someone else there helping and we've got to figure out how to relate to this person and we're staying at an Airbnb somewhere and is that going to be nice? And yeah, I think for some reason I really prefer that than going and recording at the barn, which is this it's a big studio. I just run it. I don't own it, but I have like a little we record vocals at my house, but it's for me, the travel and the recording are kind of one and the same. Like I pretty much do that whenever possible. We demo here, and we do get a really good result, but it's not quite the same. So highly recommend it.
Okay. So this came up on the podcast a few weeks ago, but I'm a Gen Xer and I was speaking to a band who are about my age. We're all around 50 or over 50.
Yeah.
And, so we grew up on a lot of the records that Jack and Dino is famous for. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
I'm curious, working with him and working with Dave Catching, what their approaches were as engineers, as recording engineers.
Jack is very meticulous. He's like scientific approach to engineering and really, really pulling a good sound. So he's very precise that way. I think he may have had he might have recorded enough heavy bands. You know what I mean? Like he actually has won a bunch of awards for other music, but he's known mostly for the heavy stuff. So I think he has. I won't say he doesn't like it, but I think he's recorded a lot of them, and he's kind of open to other things. Like when we were there, we also recorded a Bee Gees cover for a compilation that's on our Spotify, and we recorded that with Jack and Dino, and he really really loved that. But maybe the super doomy stuff, like I think he was sort of letting us produce it more. But man, was he a pro? Like he had a lot of great ideas. He pulled the best sounds I've ever heard. Like his guitar tone, I had to re-record a solo back here, and it took me so long, even with the same type of speaker and the same amp and everything, to really come close to make the guitar solo work. So yeah, he's a genius. Rancho on the other side of the coin is like you go in and everything's set up, like they don't move anything. A drum kit mic, there's like, I don't know, 15, 16 drum kit mics all set up and it's ready to go and it's the same kit. And there's all these crazy little instruments and like an old piano and I don't know, 50 different guitar amps, amazing guitar amps and speakers. And you just quickly, it's less scientific. You just quickly move a mic and record the guitar. And maybe like we didn't check all the drum kit mics and I should have probably checked the floor tom mic because it didn't work on a couple of songs and things like that, which we had to fix. But the experience there is such a weird, open, positive experience. And you just go out and shoot the BB gun into the desert and our partners are all there just hanging out and traditionally my wife hates the recording studio, but she loves going to Rancho. So that says a lot about how cool the vibe is. You're just drinking tequila all day, eating guacamole. Dave cooks your dinner at night, staying on site. It's amazing.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So I don't know what the bottom line is. The bottom line is comparing them, like what the end difference is.
Right.
But yeah,
I mean, it sounds like both guys are maybe like old school in terms of, especially Dave, like capturing a vibe. Like when I think of those desert sessions recordings, like they all really did seem like, one take, either you got it or you didn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's definitely like that. It's definitely, if you're going for like an insanely like mapped out and precision record, you probably Rancho is more of like a writing place, maybe. Maybe I don't want to discount it because like the sounds that come out of there are amazing. But like, just say if you're really ruthless about phase and making sure everything's really really cool, you go out there. You need a heap of time, and you might get swept up in the fun of it all and not care about all of that shit, which is definitely what we did. And not that there was anything wrong on the record, but that's the only thing. The difference is like definitely a vibe at Rancho that I've never seen it or felt at any other studio. And what you said about the desert sessions, before going, you kind of imagine, oh, I wonder if it's like really, really cool and vibey like that. And it's like, yeah, it's 10 times that. That's how fucking cool it is. Yeah, big fan.
You mentioned the name of the mixing engineer. I think his name is Mike Delandis.
Yep, that's him. He lives in Melbourne.
Yeah. And do you want to mention the name of the gentleman who mastered the album?
Yeah, he lives on the Gold Coast up here, just about 100 k's away from Brizzy, and his name is Matt Bartlam. I've known him for a really long time. He's in a bunch of bands, and he's a mixing engineer. He also masters, and he's the best mastering engineer I've ever come across. He's amazing.
In their roles mixing and mastering the album, what did you want Mike and Matt to bring to the album? What did you want the finished production to be?
Well, Mike does a lot of heavy records, a lot of different styles, but when you go to his Spotify playlist, his production engineering playlist, there's a lot of heavy bands on there. And there's a lot of modern heavy bands. There's a lot of different types. And so that's why we went for him. He mixed an album by a band called Tropical Fuckstorm, which is more like alt rocky, not like 90s alt rock, but sort of experimental rock. And he also mixed an amazing doom record by a band called Holy Serpent, called Endless. And so I fell in love with those two records. We reached out to him and he's excited about the project. And yeah, he mixed them from afar. He uses all analog gear. So for him to reset up takes a long time. But the results he pulled is just stunning, super, super good. It took a while for us to get that first track and like the vibe of the record. There was a bit of back and forth. A lot of my fault, like our fault, like not knowing exactly what we wanted. We know we didn't want it to sound like the desk mixes. We wanted it to sound really cool, but we didn't want it to sound too modern. Kind of wanted it to sound like a 90s, early 2000s heavy metal record. Lots of clarity, not too much low end. And he found it and ran with it. And just, yeah, we were so happy with that, the sound he got.
I mean, it also sounds a little bit to me like an old prog album. I mean, maybe that's the way that you guys layer your vocals, but like to me, it's got that kind of, I don't know, I can't think of a good comparison, but almost like Devin Townsend, like that kind of like angelic chorus kind of sound. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I love that. That's great. Yeah, definitely a lot of like chorus on the vocals and different delays and echoes. I guess you'd say like very inspired by Tool and Deftones on the vocals, maybe.
Okay.
And except for the harmonies, not a lot of harmonies in that band, but yeah, that kind of affected vocal, but everything else quite dry in parts and right up close. Right up close. Lots of clarity in the drums, not too much gluing everything together. Just, yeah, a bit of clarity is really cool. Johnny really likes the toms loud.
Okay. Do you layer your vocals?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah, in some songs, if the vocal's good enough, if I'm particularly proud of the vocal, I'll leave it bare. Or if I think it's good, like there's a couple of big vocals on the record. Like I'm trying to do my Chris Cornell shit, and I keep it one fairly clean in the middle. But if you're going for a bit of a vibe, it's really easy to do. It's very easy just to double track everything, and I think that's not a great idea. So things get very boring and very samey. So yeah, there's bits with and without.
Okay.
For both of us, there's a couple of bits with Maddie where it's just one vocal for her. I think maybe in Oracle Speaks. Yeah, and if you got a good vocal, if you've got a really good vocal, I find if you double it, it tends to take away the quality, the specialness of it. So a good mix, I think.
Okay. So the album is out now. I'm not sure if this episode is going to come out in time, but you do have some dates coming up very shortly. Do you want to talk about those dates and maybe additional plans you have to play live?
Yeah, absolutely. So this weekend coming, the 24th of July and the 25th of July, we have our two album launches. One on the Gold Coast, which is only 100 k's from here. It's sort of southeast Queensland's almost one giant city. So yeah, we've got that's at Mo's Desert Clubhouse with some really cool bands, including Robot God from Sydney. And then the following night, we have our Brisbane launch, also with Robot God and a couple of other sick Brisbane bands. And then we go to Sydney the following weekend it's our first Sydney trip, which is strange because we've been everywhere else, but we haven't been to Sydney yet. Very excited for that. But then in September, October, we're about to announce our UK and Europe tour, which is very exciting. It's sort of, we built it around an appearance at a festival called Stoomfest in London. So I think we've got maybe 10 UK dates and maybe 5 or 6 European dates after that. And then I'm going to come home and try and make a heap of money. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, especially nowadays, right? Touring is super expensive with all the gas prices and everything else that's going on in the world.
Oh man, you better do it for fun. Yeah, and to get out of Australia is the nightmare.
Yeah.
It's yeah, it's pretty tricky, especially with all the Iran war stuff. So yeah, we're flying. We're actually flying via Malaysia, man. We don't get out of the airport, unfortunately, but and then we come back via Taipei over the North Pole tour. So yeah, it's interesting.
Nice. So you mentioned a little bit about or ideas for the next album. Do you want to tease anything? Do you have any songs finished or any concepts in mind?
No songs finished. It's weird because yet again, I mentioned it when we first started chatting. It's very easy to not stick into one genre for me, and the couple of the songs of like it's still heavy stuff, but so many heavy genres. A couple of the songs are. I'm wondering if we go in that journey or not. There, it's a bit more like slower halftime melodic kind of stuff. Not so much slow mosery, but that's the band that first comes to my mind. Or like the slower Deftones songs, like like Be Quiet and Drive, like that kind of halftime laboring kind of song. So we've got a few of those ideas, and then we've got really technical metal stuff, as well as like the regular stoner rock kind of stuff that we just can keep writing very easily. So yeah, we don't know which way we're going to go, or if it'll be a mix of all of that. So we're having that conversation, and we're starting to jam some of the ideas. So we'll see. I'm wondering the same thing.
So the second Holy Stone album, Accepting Omega, is out now. Wolf, please tell everyone listening to this or watching it on YouTube how they can order the new album. What's the best way to get it?
Best way to get it is through our Bandcamp. Our pre-order on the vinyl is still up currently. They will be delivered in August, and we'll be shipping them out around the 15th to 20th of August. We've also got CDs of the same record. The CDs have the bonus track, Live Too Long, which we recorded at Rancho, that didn't make it on the record. And yesterday we just posted 2 shirts. If anyone's into shirts, we've been asked for a really long time, and we just couldn't find the right design, but we have, and we've got a couple of shirts up for grabs there too. I plan to get to some cassettes. Like I have a cassette player lately, and I like finding old cassettes, so I thought it'd be fun to do a limited run of cassettes of both albums. So that should probably happen in the next few months as well.
Do you want to tell the record collectors in the audience anything about the vinyl? It's a red vinyl, right?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's a good point. It's a red vinyl. It's the standard 140. We didn't go for the 180, trying to keep the price down. But we did go for the regrind. So it's using the offcuts of the vinyl, and it's reground. So it's like a splattery kind of, not like a splatter vinyl, but it's a marbled kind of color mix of red. So that's pretty cool. There'll be a lyric sheet in there, and it's a limited run of 150 hand numbered, and we can sign them on request. A lot of people asking us to sign them, which is super cool. So yeah, we'll be putting our own lyric sheets in there. Our first pressing sold out at 100, which is pretty cool, in 12 months. So we're pretty stoked with that. So hopefully this sells out and we can do them both again.
You mentioned the shirts. Is all the merch going through the Bandcamp page?
Yeah, everything's going through the Bandcamp page currently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just so easy, and they don't take too much money, and everyone trusts it. So yeah, I like Bandcamp a lot, even though they've been bought out by a huge conglomerate now, but they're still doing a good job so far. We'll see how they ruin it, but yeah.
And if people want to get updates on tours and the festival appearances that you mentioned, what's the best way to do that?
I know it's not for everybody, but we pretty much just thrash the Instagram. So we do post stuff vicariously through Facebook, but it usually just coming from our Instagram. And so if we're there and write to say hello or DM us, that kind of thing, we're always around. So yeah, we'll be announcing those tours soon. Yeah.
Okay. Wolf, it was really nice speaking with you. We're going to get cut off very quickly, but I just wanted to thank you again for your time, and maybe I'll run into you at the airport in Malaysia.
Yeah. Cool, man. Come for a beer. We'll be drinking. Yeah, nice talking to you, Adrian. Thank you so much, man,
Yeah.
for the interview. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Wolf.
All right, see you, mate.